gas up the Jeep, it's good to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. The highway is long, the wheels turning round. Pack up the cook stove and the bowls. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I are on the road.
Hey everybody, Merry Christmas. Hope you're all having a great one. I thought that I would get in the kitchen and make a recipe that really reminds me of Christmas, and I haven't had it in years. It's my grandmother's famous Pecan Crescent cookie recipe. It's the simplest recipe in the world, but it just, there's something about it that just really reminds me of Christmas. Now, it just has, let's see, this is half a pound of butter, a cup of sifted powdered sugar, cups of sifted all-purpose flour, a half a pound of chopped pecans, and then just a little splash of vanilla. And that's it. It's just like really simple. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start creaming this butter in this bowl, and then we'll start adding the other ingredients, and well, you'll see. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just add our butter to the bowl. And then we just really want to kind of get this soft and kind of smushed together. I could have let this sit out a little bit longer. It's been sitting out for, I don't know, a couple hours, but not quite there. It's just pretty close. It's going to start softening really quickly here now that I'm getting it broken apart. Okay, I'm going to switch to a little bit sturdier spoon. Okay, we're going to start adding in some of our powdered sugar, a little at a time, well, maybe half. I'll add a little splash of vanilla. Now we're going to start adding in the nuts, some of the nuts and the flour. So a little bit of the flour. Alright, and we'll just do this until everything is all together. Alright, so it eventually kind of becomes this sort of dry, sort of shaggy kind of looking cookie dough, but when you do press it together, they do form the cookies, so that's what we're going to do next. My grandmother would make little crescents just like that. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I have my oven at 350 degrees that's waiting for us there. I'm going to have a lightly greased cookie sheet, sheet pan, and then I'm going to start making these cookies. There's that one we made before. Like I said, this is a very dry dough, but when you squeeze it together, it starts to shape the shape of the cookies. So I'm going to make a bunch of these little crescents and see how many we get. My brother, speaking of it being dry, my brother used to call these sawdust cookies because he didn't like them. But they were always my favorite for that reason, because they are dry when you bite into them. And I hate to say that in a, it's not dry in a bad way, but they have a very light sweetness to them, and then they have that dry, sort of dry texture to them. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You probably get like 20, if you make them a little smaller, you probably get about 25 cookies out of here. All right, I'm going to get washed up, and then we're going to pop these in the oven. All right, there we go. Now the cookies were in the oven for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees. And I took them out and I let them sit and let cool for about another 10 minutes. So now they're easy to handle, and we're going to go to the next step. We're going to take them and roll them in powdered sugar. And that there is our finished cookie. Don't those look good? Now, I know this is a pretty common recipe for cookies all over around the world, actually, around Christmas time. I'm sure you've probably made this recipe or something very similar for your Christmas holidays. So anyway, I'm really happy the way these turned out. I haven't had one of these since probably the mid-1980s, so actually I'm going to eat one right here. That is exactly how I remember these cookies. They're perfect. There's a perfect amount of sweetness in there. They're more, it's like a shortbread cookie, so it's not real sweet. Those are so good and bring back great Christmas memories. I call them Pecan Crescent cookies. My brother, he called them sawdust cookies. I will put the correct written recipe in the description below this video, so you'll be able to see that. But that being said, just please remember that you may have to adjust it here or there. You may need to add a little more flour or a little less flour, a little more butter, but to get that right consistency. You'll get used to that once you make it a couple times. Anyway, thank you so much for following along. Once again, have a very Merry Christmas, and Arlo and I will see you again very soon.
Gas up the Jeep, it's fun to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I.